Alright, so today's lesson we're talking about adding fractions with unlike denominators, and we know from before that unlike means that they are different. So different denominators. Different denominators. Okay? So the first thing you have to do, well, you recognize that they're different because that's a 6 and that's a 9. We're going to find a common denominator. And in order to do that, we're going to do an EFT to find a common D. So an EFT, you already know, is equivalent fraction table. So an EFT to find a common D, I'm going to write 1/9 and then 5/6. When they say rewrite vertically, that just means up and down. Okay? And then I'm going to do my EFT. EFTs, we do them and we are finding the common denominator. So let's start with 6, and then I would go 6, 12, and then 18. Well, and on here I could go 9, 18, and then I stop because I have a common denominator. I can now fill out my numerators. So I have 2 18ths and 15 18ths as the things that I'm looking at. So let's get this. Let's see. We have 2 18ths and then 15 18ths. Okay? All right. Now we're just going to add them. So I'm going to say 2 18ths plus 15 18ths. I guess I should write 18 there. And then my denominator is going to, if it is the same, it stays the same. So 18 and 18, they're the same. We've just changed them. And so our new denominator is now 18. Now we'll find our numerator. 2 plus 15 is 17. So what you would say is that 1/9 plus 5/6 equals 17 over 18. Okay, that gets kind of messy, so we're going to use another sheet of paper to do our next one. And what we're doing is just making sure that you understand that you cannot add fractions unless the denominators are the same. We need to find something that's equivalent. Okay, let's look at this one. 3/8 plus 2/3 plus 1/8. 3/8 plus 2/3 plus 1/8. I'm going to write them on another sheet of paper so we'll have some more space to write. Let's see. 3/8 plus 2/3 plus 1/8. So what do you think we should do first? Whoa, that did something weird. Alright, what should we do first? Well, I think we should look at what we're working with. I have a denominator here of 8, and I have a denominator here of 8. So let's consolidate those. Let's combine those two fractions. So I would say 3/8 plus 1/8 equals 4/8. Okay? Now, we still have this particular fraction that we still need to add, and so now we can do that. There's our 4/8, and then I'll say 2/3. Our denominators are different, so we need to do an EFT to find a common D. Always start with your smaller fraction and then play catch up with the larger fraction, and catch up meaning that you want to catch up to this number. Okay? So 3, 6, 9, we just passed it. So we want this one to catch up to here. Well, it won't. It's going to go 8, then 16. Well, that number is pretty far away from where we are, so we'll go back 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. We're still underneath it, and then we can go 18, then 21. We've passed that, so now I'm going to go 16, 24, and then 21, 24. That's our common denominator. Now, you might notice that 8 times 3 is 24. You might notice that, and that's a common denominator for them in this particular problem. That is not always the most efficient way to find your common denominator, because normally when we say common denominator, when you're trying to add, we are not only looking for a common denominator, we are looking for an LCM. An LCM is a least common denominator, so it means the smallest denominator that they have in common, okay? The least common multiple. So it would be the smallest multiple that they have in common. In this instance, it happens to be 24, so we can continue. I'm going to fill out my numerators, and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and then 16, okay? Now, our two fractions would be 16 over 24, 14 over 24. I like to put a box around them just so that I know which ones I'm adding. Guys, when you're writing a lot, you need to make sure that your writing is neat enough for you to be able to really understand what you're writing, okay? So I'm going to take those two fractions, the 12 over 24 plus 16 over 24, and our denominators are the same, so they stay the same. 24 is our denominator, and then 12 plus 16 is 28. Now this fraction, that's our answer, but we need to find an equivalent fraction that looks proper. So not even an equivalent fraction, but something that is equivalent to this particular fraction. This is an improper fraction because that numerator is larger, and we don't want to be improper, we want to be proper, okay? So this means 24 divided into groups of, 28, Miss McQueen, 28 into groups of 24. 28 divided into groups of 24, okay? So you can take your 28 divided by 24. 24 goes into 28 one time. 1 times 24 is 24. 8 take away 4 is 4, and that would be your 4 over 24, okay? So 28 24ths equals 1 and 4 over 24. Okay? That was pretty good. Now, I recognize that 4 and 24 are both composite numbers, and I think they have something in common. So let's see what they could have in common. Well, there's a 4 in this 24, not just the number, but you could make groups of 4, equal groups of 4, inside that 24. So what you would do is what we've shown you in another video. When you are reducing, renaming, or simplifying fractions, you're going to do your factor tree to reduce this fraction, or to rename, or to simplify this fraction. All those terms, it means the same thing, okay? All right, so we're going to say this 4 equals 2 times 2. So your fraction now is 1 and 2 times 2. And then the bottom, we know that we have an 8 and a 3. 3 is prime, so we circle it. And then 4 and 2. 2 is prime, so we circle it. And then 4, we can have multiples of 2 and 2. Every time you get a prime number, remember that we circle those prime numbers. I'm making sure that I write all my numbers down so that I don't forget anything, because that could definitely change your fraction. Okay? So now we have our fraction. We have 4 over 24, because this is the prime factorization for 4, and then this is the prime factorization for 24. Okay? It makes it easier for us to reduce our fractions if we don't know our multiplication facts. Okay? All right, so everything I do at the top, I have to be able to do at the bottom. I can divide out 1, 2 at the top and 1, 2 at the bottom. I have another 2 here, and I have another 2 at the bottom. There's nothing else to take out at the top, so I've gone as far as I can. So my new answer, this 1 and 4 over 24, let's write it a little bit lower. 1 and 4 over 24. All right, so we have our whole number here. Write that over again. At the top, there's nothing. You're able to put a 1 in there, because even though 1 is not a prime factor, 4 or 2 times 2 times 1 is still 4. that doesn't change the value of that fraction. Now let's see what we have left at the bottom. 2 times 3. All right, 2 times 3 is 6. So our new reduced mixed number is 1 and 1/6. So 1 and 4 over 24, 1 and 4/24 equals 1 and 1/6. Okay? Your parents probably know how to do this by dividing this number and the numerator and the denominator by the same number. We could have divided them both by 4 and we would have gotten the same thing. This is how that looks. Okay? So 1 and 4 over 24. You could divide that 4, the numerator and the denominator, by 4. Then you would have your whole 1. Then 4 divided by 4 is 1. 24 divided by 4 is 6. Same answer, and this is how your parents know how to do it. But it's simple for them because they know their multiples. Okay, they know their math facts. And some of us are still struggling, which is why we do this way. And also, this will help you with some of those facts that you're just don't remember. Okay? All right, so today we just added fractions with unlike denominators. I'll do another video that shows you how to add fractions with unlike denominators, but where you have some whole numbers mixed in there, so that we can see exactly what you need to do. Okay?